This is called a backflow preventer. What it does is basically keeps pressure from backfeeding from a building, which is behind the camera, to back to the CD main. So for some reason, if the CD main broke or a fire hydrant broke and pressure dropped in the CD main, if you had items in the building like a Coke machine or anything that was creating extra pressure, it wouldn't backflow back into the city main. That's why when you ever have a water main break in an area, they'll tell you, hey, we need to boil the water, because they're not sure if anything backflowed back into the system that contaminated the system. So this device is covered up, but it's got diaphragms and pistons, and basically uses differential pressure to know that there's more pressure, possibly flow going that way, and it actually shuts it off. So this is, depending on where you live, these are actually mandated to be put on commercial buildings, residential buildings that have any sort of irrigation. If you have Coke machines, and I know with the new codes, they're probably getting put in pretty much everywhere. Here in Texas, you have to have them inspected, so they have to be up somewhere where you can have them inspected. I think it's yearly or bi-yearly. And the problem with that is they're in the elements, and we have some cold winters lately, and this one's have actually been replaced recently because it froze and broke. So it's insulated a little bit here, but usually people put these covers over them to protect them. And we had a fabric cover over this, didn't last more than a year. And basically the idea is to cover them, insulate it, so that the ground warmth keeps this from freezing. So we built a cover, or we're going to build a cover in this video, and that's to basically protect this, cover it, and make it last more than a year. So here we go. So our plan for this backflow preventer cover, so I have the measurements here, and basically with the material I have, it looks like I'm going to basically cut a piece like this and then bend it, and then do a bottom flange. Stuff on my table with some holes to basically connect it to the ground, and then I'm going to form a cap basically like this. Ooh, that drawing teacher would hate that. All right, like this on each side. To cap it off, and that would get the dimensions we need to cover the backflow preventer with insulation with the material I have, so I don't have to buy new material. So that's the plan. We'll see how that goes. Of course, here's the whole drawing, because I didn't even get it in the shot. I don't want to have to reshoot it. So basically we're doing this metal part here out of one piece, and then doing these caps out of two pieces, so they slip on, and probably secure them with a couple of screws. That's the plan for now. We'll see what my material actually lays out with. 18. Oh. I love working with sheet metal, but it's always wants to bite you. So you always got to just be careful of where these sharp corners are. Mark out an inch. That'll be my bottom flange. I'm gonna go 19 here. So that gives me an inch above what the backflows preventer is that this will be bent up, that will be bent down, this will be bent down one more time, and I'm probably going to leave, because I didn't really have enough material there, I'm probably going to leave probably a good 3-inch flange on that. So this magnetic brake from Belay, I bought this several years ago. I mean, for this material, just galvanized, I think it's 24 gauge, if I remember right. Maybe 22 gauge. Bought it to do some pans and some duct work for a house addition I'm working on up at the house. But really, you don't really need a magnetic brake. You could use a table and just a piece of angle iron and hammer it in place. That work. Done it before. Sometimes it goes real easy, sometimes it doesn't. But this tool, and I know there's finger brakes, there's cheaper brakes out here, but I definitely like the fact that this comes with all sorts of other attachments. This magnetic brake just seems like it's faster. You hit a button, you start bending, it clamps it down, you bend it, and then if you have to use these special tools, it's easy to move these out of the way. For a finger brake, you have to loosen them up, move all the fingers and all that stuff. So I really like this. You just push it there and it somewhat clamps it down, so you don't have to hold it. And then you just grab this and it really clamps it down. I always overbend it. And then you hit a red button here, and you sometimes have to hit twice to release it. But that's the bottom flange. That's one side. And now this is kind of, you got to think on how it's going to lay in the die. You know, if you start getting points too close to you get together, that's when you have to worry about how the die is going to clamp down on it. But with this piece, I don't think I have to worry about it too much. I'll do that piece up, this piece down, that piece down. And there's plenty of room for each operation. But I might have to mark that because my marks might be on the wrong side. Let me think about it. Yep. This is the point where everybody says, make sure your work area is clean so you don't hurt yourself. And this is me ignoring that. That's definitely beyond 90 degrees, but it fits tighter and there's less gaps when you put it together and screw it together. If you don't overbend it, there might be a gap that just never closes up when you screw it all together. That's 3 sides of your box. Now I got to figure out how to make these caps, because that's the backflow preventer, 49.5 inches. I need to leave, right now we're at 48 inches, and I need these caps. And if I can make these flanges about 3 inches, it'll give me plenty of space. I got kind of a bigger piece and a smaller piece, so they're not going to be even, which is fine. So one cap, you know, I want to do another flange, 1 inch on the bottom. That right here at 20, 24. So basically 2 inches here, because this is an 1/8 and I'm measuring from this corner. That gives me about an 1/8 inch. So this should just slide on. So this is right at, you know, inside diameter is going to be, you know, inside dimensions about 9 1/8. So really down here, what I need to do is at least cut a relief here. So when I fold that up, and then fold this down on both sides, it can fold right there. And then up here, I basically need to cut corner out. And I don't know, I'm not being all that precise right now, but this will be cut here, bent here, bent here. This is cut out, that's cut out, and then these will be folded over. Lay this out here. Now I have 22.5 by 19. Plenty of material. So same thing. Let's do an inch for the bottom. And up here I want to go 19. And that's kind of my first bin line. And what that leaves me with is roughly 1, 2, 3, close to 4 inches of gap on that side. So with this, I'm just using some shears because it just needs to be single cut. Let me take you over back to the bender and spin these. Didn't do that through. Stop that. And then I can find a spot where those two places will line up. And man, that's going to be fun. So now I can just do that. Cut this off. This I can hopefully just use a couple of these. The whole idea with this is to try to cover it, but I want to leave enough. You want to leave the ground underneath it open so that heat from the ground can get up and cover this, because over time, even if it's insulated, unless you have water flowing through the backflow preventer, there's no heat source. So it will, if no one's here over a long weekend and we have a hard freeze, then basically this will become the temperature of the surrounding air if you don't have a heat source. And you're relying on the ground, because here in Texas we don't get too cold, so the ground will stay warm enough to keep this from freezing. In colder places, they usually put like a heat wrap, electrical heat wrap, looks like an extension cord that has a thermometer, thermostat in it, and that will turn on when it gets too cold. But you still need insulation because you don't want that heat just to escape to the atmosphere. Okay, looks good. try to do these at an angle, crisscrossing each other, so that it doesn't want to pull up. There's the finished product. There's the other side of it. So it'll keep the rain, the moisture off of it. It's not supposed to be watertight. And it'll keep that insulation in place and keep it from freezing.